Means anything, you got to figure the Cincinnati Reds are going to be fighting mad now as we move over to the running track. Event number 2 for our world champions, the tandem bicycle racing. Team, 2 men, 1 bike, 4 teams. They go around the track once, each team. Total distance for the race, 1 mile. Remember this, the winner gets $8 grand, loser zip. Here's the way they'll start. Running in the first heat for the Pittsburgh Steelers, L.C. Greenwood and Mel Blount, alongside of Joe Morgan and Doug Flynn of the Cincinnati Reds. In heat number 2, we'll see Jack Ham and Rocky Bleier for the Steelers, Merv Retman and Don Gullett for the Cincinnati Reds. For the Steelers in heat number 3, John Kolb and Jerry Mullins. There's a couple of horses. They're running alongside of Big John Bench and Tony Perez. The track will quake and shiver when that group gets out there. And at the back, the anchor men. Here's Reggie with Franco Harris, Andy Russell, Pete Rose, and Raleigh Eastwick.
Andy Russell, the captain of this team here, you got a chance to bury these baseball players.
Well, it's a little early to be talking about burying him, Reggie, but I think it's a pivotal race. It's important. We don't know what the previous times were, so it's really hard to judge who's the better team. I think it's going to be a heck of a race.
Franco, I saw you rubbing your legs and getting all ready and excited. Did somebody say something to you where it means anything now?
Yeah, Reggie, I heard it was 8,000 or nothing, and I'm not used to getting nothing.
You ready now?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Raleigh Eastwick, you're behind Pete over here, and the whole team is behind the Cincinnati Reds.
Well, it's only the first event. You know, we got 6 to go, and there's a few coins on the line, so we're going to be putting out.
Pete, you brought it up from behind the other day. You just heard Franco say he's ready to put it on you and all ready to come up with the money.
Well, I think we'll have the lead going into the last lap. I sure hope so, because the wind's tough on that backside. I don't want it to come from behind to beat Franco and Andy today, but if I have to, I will.
If you have to, you will. What about these football players? You tired of them beating up on you already?
They're good. They're good athletes, and it's just a pleasure to come over here and meet them. You know,
you're ready, ain't you?
Yes, sir. Let's go.
Thank you, man.
Pete Rose, 35 years of age, a native son of Cincinnati, came out of the Reds farm system, joined the ball club in 1963. After 3 seasons in the minors, 13 seasons, his batting average is .310, best among the active National Leaguers. 7 times he's hit 300 or better, and he's been an all-star 9 times. The MVP in the '75 World Series, the Sports Illustrated Sportsman of the Year. He's on a team of superstars with people like Bench, Morgan, and Perez, but he drives himself constantly. Questioned about that, he answered this way.
Well, I think the 3 guys you mentioned keep me going because they're big agitators and we get along great. We're just like hand and foot together. We all get along so well. And I'm very fortunate, I think, because in my career I've got to play against Willie Mays, I've got to play against Henry Aaron. You played against Henry Aaron. I got to play against Stan Musial. And right now I feel like I play with the best player in baseball, and Joe Morgan, the best catcher maybe of all time, and Johnny Bench, and the best clutch RBI man I've ever seen in Tony Perez. So I'm very fortunate. And when you're representing guys like that, you just go out there and put out 110%. And you got to put out 110 because if I'm playing against you, you're going to be given 100. And if that's the case, no one's going to win. And the object of the game is to win.
Some earlier comments of Charlie Hustle, Pete Rose. I want to emphasize once more, this is a running track. It is flat. It is not banked into turns. You've got to be very careful when you get up to speed on these tandem bicycles. And the Cincinnati Reds coming from the outside. It is Morgan and Flynn jumping immediately into a lead over Greenwood and Blount. They just went blazing out.
Winner take all, which we've got to make the, a slip pedal. The Pittsburgh Steelers are going to lose valuable ground like here. They haven't been able to get back on their pedals. Now they're just starting, and the red legs are going like a bat out of Cincinnati.
Joe Morgan and Doug Flynn now. They coast into the turn. It's a little slick there, too, because we have had some rain showers, as we have noted. The Pittsburgh Steelers combination of Greenwood and Blount struggling, trying to get some momentum going, but they are well back now, almost a full turn behind. The lead pair for the Cincinnati Reds, and now the Reds are coming into the relay area, and it's Merv Retman and Don Gullett off and going, picking it up for the Pittsburgh Steelers. It'll be linebacker Jack Ham and running back Rocky Bleier.
They've got a lot of ground to make up right now, Keith. As we saw earlier, Greenwood and Mel Blount had a problem. They slipped on their bike, and these fellows, the main thing they need to do right now is to try not to make a mistake. Keep those feet on those pedals.
Where they're clanking and clanking around there, sounds like something's coming loose. Can you imagine the amount of torque that 2 big horses like that put on a simple, ordinary chain for a bicycle? It must be enormous, the G-force that's exerted on it. In the meantime, Retman and Gullett are just flat sailing. They have had no trouble whatsoever. And here comes the 3rd pair for Cincinnati. Johnny Bench and Tony Perez. They're on their way. It'll be John Kolb and Jerry Mullins now for Pittsburgh, and the Steelers are still well back.
John Kolb, 6'3", 260, and Jerry Mullins, 6'3", 225 pounds. Now, you talk about torque, Keith, as you mentioned earlier. That's over 500 pounds, man. I wonder if that bike can stand all that kind of weight.
Yeah! They almost wound up in the swimming pool as they took that turn wide, and they are not gaining much on Bench and Perez. They have closed some coming down the straight, but it's in the turn where the big men usually have their problems.
They're having some trouble with their feet right now, making this turn. They're slowing down. They're going to lose ground here. If they get in trouble right here, as they are, they may not ever be able to make up the ground. They're all over the track, Keith.
Really wobbling. In the meantime, here's the final pair for the Cincinnati Reds, Pete Rose and Raleigh Eastwick. It was against the Boston Red Sox, and Rose and Eastwick were well back, but fought all the way around the racetrack and pulled it out against the Red Sox in the preliminary competition. They're running right now in front of Franco Harris and Andy Russell. Now, Harris and Russell are very good on the tandem bike, but they have so very much to make up here, almost a half a straightaway.
No question about it. You see fellas that are used to being under pressure, especially a guy like a Pete Rose. He gets a lead like that, and he doesn't want to be a show-off. He doesn't want to be a big star, Keith. He just wants to hold on to what he has and hold the lead and be a winner. And you know how Pete Rose likes to win.
And he's heading now for the finish line, and the Cincinnati Reds have evened this competition at 1-1 with a time of 2 minutes 57.48 seconds for the Pittsburgh Steelers. It is 3 minutes 0.84, so it's just a fraction over 3 minutes for the Steelers as the Redlegs win it. And a look in slow motion at the early problem for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Elsie Greenwood and Mel Blount slipping right there, almost went down as the back wheel took a little slip in the soft going. And then the second instance of trouble for the Pittsburgh Steelers, which really sealed their doom in this bike relay, was John Kolb and Jerry Mullins, as they had closed some distance against Bench and Perez, but lost contact with the pedals, and so Cincinnati wins the bike race. We're even at 1-1. Here's Reggie.
Pete, you starring again?
Now, Joe opened up a big lead, Reg, and really helped us out because they made up some ground on Tony and John, but I think they lost the pedal there for a minute, so it got closer about the third leg, but wheeled him back up.
Morgan looked like he had a motor in him.
He jumped him right here on the gate. Got a good start, and, being small like they are, they opened up a big lead. That's all we needed.
You guys looked like you had done some practicing. No one lost their pedals, and each time you started, you were able to get up off of your bike and ride together and pump as hard as you possibly could.
I think it's a little easier, Reg, because our legs aren't as long as the football players. They got to reach down further, and I think that's what gives them the difficulty.
Reggie, I still think you and I could win it. We're all even at 1-1, and we'll have more action here on the running track in a moment with the running relay over a 3/4 mile distance.